Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to this documentary called Inside Miami's Deadly Plastic Surgery Industry. I'm not sure if they mean like illegal plastic surgery or like just regular plastic surgery and people are like doing it a lot. I don't know. But yeah, I guess I'll find out watching this video. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And yeah, let's get into this video. I don't know. Let me just wait for them, see what they say.
Women wants to be, they want to be fuller at the top, smaller in the waist, and then they want to come out in the hips like a hourglass or a Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah, they want to see what they see, or they want to look like how they, what they see on TV.
Yeah, I wanted more of a slimmer waistline.
But I don't know if people know this, but not everything you see online is real. Some of those girls are editing their pictures to look like that, so they probably don't even look like that in real life. But that's what you're trying to look like, even though those girls don't really look like that in real life. That's interesting.
And a more of a bubble shape butt.
If you go on social media, who do people like get more likes? Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. You start looking at perfect
But
bodies,
some of those girls,
people like and how to get people's attention. And
got fake bodies. Like,
it's time to go in.
You don't want to look real.
As social media fuels demand for a curvier figure, hundreds of thousands
People
of
always complaining that people are being fake, but their bodies are fake too. But you try and do that.
Brazilian butt lift is when a doctor uses liposuction to collect fat from different parts of the body. They then
but I've seen like people get that done, and like the bruises
the surgery has
are
become one of the
crazy.
most popular cosmetic procedures in the world. But it's also one
But
of the
also,
so
it's your body. You can do whatever you want to do.
For my stomach, my
But I'm just like
back,
mentioning, like, why would you want to copy someone else
traveled to Miami,
if that's not what they really look like in person?
to investigate what's behind a rise in injuries and deaths related to Brazilian butt
Walmart.
lifts. Our reporting uncovered a pattern of high-volume surgical centers that appear to be putting profits ahead of patient safety.
the more they lower the prices, the more people are going to come and bite on it.
Dania Placencia died after having a Brazilian butt lift procedure.
He was perfectly healthy, 28 years
But that's also crazy, like the surgeries. If you're doing it like the legal way,
According to the
it should
medical
be
report following
safe.
Dania's death,
Like,
Dr. Alvarez was performing 60 to 80 surgeries per month. What do you think when you hear that?
It is an assembly line.
I feel like they're probably just doing it for the money at that point. But yes, these surgeries should be as safe as possible. That's why people do them. So I just got interrupted by an ad, but it was like for meat. That was a weird ad. Like, I'm watching this and then they're like showing me ads about meat. No.
In 2019, 28-year-old Dania Placencia decided to get a Brazilian butt lift, or BBL, a procedure that was growing in popularity, especially in Miami.
Yeah, a lot of people do it. It should be as safe as
Why
possible.
do you think she wanted to get the BBL?
Sometimes we miss looking a certain way before we had kids.
Like, what did the doctor do wrong?
After the third pregnancy, she got a little overweight. That's why she got the counseling from her friends to get the operation.
So she says here 10 years ago versus now. So she's comparing these two photos side by side, 3 babies later. Hashtag fat girl, probs, LOL. Hashtag 10-year challenge. Hashtag in the works.
Her brother says Dania also hoped the surgery would help her at work.
So when she was a waitress serving, she would always tell me like, Papa, all these girls have mini skirts and they're young. I want to compete with them for tips. I'm getting my surgeries.
For tips.
Just for tips.
As a doctor, her grandfather Marcio knew the risks of surgery and was opposed to Dania having the procedure, so she kept it from him.
You would have stopped her?
Oh, immediately. No question about it.
On the morning of May 10th, 2019,
So it
Dania
was the doctor's
arrived
fault,
for
right?
BBL with Nia Aesthetics. She sent her family this photo before her surgery. It was the last image of her alive.
The next thing I knew is that they called saying that she had a respiratory arrest.
But
So we went to the
I wonder if she
hospital
did like
where she
multiple
was taken from the
consultations with
clinic.
different
She
doctors,
was
or
dead already.
oh no.
This video was taken that day.
Oh, it's with this
And
guy.
that's when we noticed that she wasn't breathing well. And it was that moment that we called 911. I mean, we didn't wait a second.
By 11:55 a.m., Dania was pronounced dead. Dania died of a pulmonary fat embolism, which happens when fat is accidentally injected into the veins, stopping the heart.
One thing is losing your parents, your old parents.
Can they sue the doctor?
Kids and grandkids. That's a very different.
Or did she sign something? I don't know.
And I would never forget going to her funeral. I remember her daughter was still wearing a white dress, screaming to the top of her lungs for her mom.
Did you wish that you had talked to her about BBLs, or did it even change your thoughts about your own surgery?
If I would have said that, I would have been a hypocrite, because I was going in the next week. She died a week before my surgery, my second surgery. And you know how it is. You pay for all that money. There's no refund. There's no refund.
And how many friends?
Yeah, and
do
you expect it to
have
be
that have
as safe
had
as possible.
BBLs?
All of them.
All of your friends?
All my friends have had BBLs.
As BBLs continue to grow in popularity,
See, like if people
each
around you
year,
are doing it too, and like
we
they're
wanted to
fine, like
understand
what would
happened
make
to
you?
Dania
I can't
and
speak.
how these
What would
surgeries
make
came
you
about.
not want to do it?
These are
Also,
just kind of general surgical instruments. Your scissors to cut the sutures. This is your pickup.
So we went to meet with a plastic surgeon who not only performs them, but teaches other doctors how to do them safely.
So this
So
is
the other
fat. This is what we use
doctor,
for liposuction, and
did
that's
they
the fat that we
explain
have for transfer. So
what
what
happened
makes
to
it
him?
risky? So it really has to do with the anatomy and in the buttock region. There are large vessels there just beneath the gluteal muscle, and if fat gets into these vessels, it clogs up the lungs. It's what we call a fat embolism.
And that would cause instant death.
Pretty much.
Can cause instant death.
Yeah.
Since 2015, 21 women, including Dania, have died in Florida after having Brazilian butt lifts.
Dang, in just Florida?
Alarmed by these deaths, a number of plastic surgery groups formed a task force to look into why they were happening.
This is the autopsy report for Dania Placencia.
Yes, I witnessed her autopsy.
And was that something that could have been avoided?
Yes.
She did not need to die from having fat injected. I mean, like, that was not the proper way to do the procedure.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
would
correct?
seem, or
That's correct.
it
No
would
one needs
seem
to
that
die from this
that's
procedure.
like the
If doctors can just avoid
one of the easy
putting fat
surgeries, like
into the
just
muscle,
injecting fat.
if there's no fat into the muscle, the patients will not die.
And so you wrote in your report that this was negligence. Was this negligence?
You know, this was below the standard of care at that time.
And he was doing like 60
It's
to
not
80
clear how many people around the world have died
procedures a
while getting
month.
BBLs because those numbers aren't tracked. But one 2017 study suggested it could be as high as 1 in 3,000, which would make it the most dangerous cosmetic procedure in the world.
Dang, that's crazy.
We did not see this
the way
happening
that thing is in the
until,
skin.
the mid 2010s, and so in 2015, the alarm bell went off where certain researchers in Mexico and in Colombia noted that they had patients that had died from this procedure, and for the same cause, for a
I
little
hear about it
fat
so
embolism
much
into the
that
lungs.
I didn't
Then,
even know it
we
was
realized
a
that
problem.
here in the United States, we have had deaths after this procedure
Like the
for the
BBLs.
same reason. And the place where the deaths
I
have
saw someone
happened
on
most is
YouTube that got a
unfortunately Miami.
BBL, and
The reason
Like,
Miami tops
it
the
wasn't
list
even
of
a thought
BBL
that it was
deaths has
this
a lot to
dangerous.
do with how important plastic surgery centers are to the city and the way they're allowed to operate here.
What has made Florida such a popular
But I thought
place
you weren't allowed to sit.
for cosmetic surgery and for BBLs?
I think it's a combination of things, and I think one of them for sure is the regulatory environment. Here you can be a businessman, own a clinic, and employ surgeons or physicians to do the work. And they don't get as much regulation as, say, a hospital or an ambulatory surgical center.
As the
But
cosmetic
I
surgery
guess
industry grew in
every
Miami,
surgery has its
and
risks.
demand for procedures increased across socioeconomic groups, a new type of clinic sprung up to offer these surgeries at discounted prices.
I would call them high volume centers,
But
where the procedure is significantly less or cheaper.
yeah,
Than it would be
discounted
pretty
surgeries,
much
of
anywhere
course,
else in
more
the
people will
US.
want to do
I think
it.
they're making it up in volume, and they're doing many, many BBLs per surgeon per day.
What impact does that have on the actual surgery itself or on the doctors?
So there is such a thing, and we call it surgeon fatigue.
A high volume, low price clinic, the surgeon can perform anywhere from 6, 7, or even up to 10 surgeries a day.
I've been doing this procedure now for more than 10 years. It takes me about 2 to 2.5 hours to do one. After 3, I'm exhausted.
According to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons,
And that's just
a
one.
BBL can cost about $14,000. At a high volume, low price clinic, a BBL could go from $2,500 to $4,000.
But the savings
Dang.
come with other costs.
And like, if it's that
And what
cheap,
they're
you're gonna get
cutting
so
out
many
of
more
that,
people,
the patient
and you're just
surgeon
like,
consultation.
is he rushing through them?
What you're also cutting out is that you don't know exactly the qualifications of your surgeon and the environment that they're working in. And all of those factors are there to create what is essentially an assembly line of surgery to get patients in and out quickly.
Yeah, so it's not
We
as safe
identified all the
because they're like
deaths from pulmonary fat emboli after
just,
Brazilian
I don't know,
buttocks,
rushing
and we
through it
mapped out
to
where
get
they
to the other
occurred in
people.
the city of Miami. It's really one small little part of town right here, centered on this street. The numbers show us that 92% of these deaths happened at the
Wait,
high
but
volume clinics.
do patients have to sign something before getting a surgery
One of the high volume
so that the
clinics
doctor
in that
isn't
area
liable,
is
or
Mia
I don't know.
Aesthetics, where Dania went. Its website advertises BBLs for less than $5,000, and they even offer financing. The family received a settlement for Dania's death. Dania's surgeon, Dr. Sergio Alvarez, the founder and CEO of Mia Aesthetics, did not respond to multiple requests for an interview or to a list of questions we sent him. However, Fault Lines obtained footage from a lawsuit involving Mia Aesthetics that sheds light on their business model and the risk it creates.
How many surgeries are scheduled per surgeon?
Scheduled? It can be anywhere between 6 to 8.
Scheduled.
A day?
Sometimes more, sometimes less.
In this deposition clip, Dr. Alvarez is talking about how many patients it will schedule in a day, and he said it could be anywhere from 6 to 8 patients in a day, sometimes more.
In a sworn
But
deposition,
the other doctor
a
said that it
former
takes like
surgeon
2.5
at
hours to
Mia
do a
claimed
BBL.
that pressure from Dr. Alvarez to do more surgeries contributed to her
And he's tired
decision
after the
to
third
leave
hour.
the practice.
I was asked by Sergio to increase the number of cases that I was performing every day by an additional 2 cases. I reluctantly agreed to increase to 7, but even with 7, you know, I could be working well over 16-hour days. So that's something that wasn't really sustainable for me.
We took a deeper look into Mia's legal history and found a pattern of staff working long hours.
One surgical assistant that sued the company that's saying that she barely even had time to eat or sleep. She was doing
Dang.
up to 13 hours a day.
And she's
5
not
days
even the
a
main
week,
surgeon.
doing 7 or more plastic surgery cases a day. In some cases, she worked as many as 20 hours in a day.
And since Dania's death, other patients alleged they've been seriously injured while undergoing procedures at Mia. Despite the potential complications, the popularity of the surgery continues to grow.
This is where they stuck a stick about this long into the butts, into there.
When was the last time you had a surgery?
3 weeks ago.
You just had this 3 weeks ago, the
See, I had this
revision? Why do you feel like you need to keep going back to get these surgeries?
Between you and I, it's an addiction.
It's an addiction.
It's an addiction. It's like when you start gambling, you're just not gonna stop. So I'm gambling with my body to get the perfect body.
Dang.
These surgical centers are not equipped to deal with emergency medical complications, so patients who are injured at Miami's high-volume clinics are increasingly.
I wonder if
seeking
these
care at the
girls like
city's hospitals.
try
What are you seeing
working
most
out
of?
first, because I feel like that's
Probably
it might
BBLs
take
or
more
Brazilian
time,
butt
but
lifts
they might
seems
get
to be
the results that they
relatively
want.
uncommon
by
cosmetic
trying to
procedure,
exercise
it's
first.
had a exponential uptick in the last few
Or
years.
I wonder
and
if
we've
they
been
just
seeing
go straight to
complications
surgery.
from them be virtually non-existent prior to 2019 to now having multiple per day at Jackson.
Some of these surgical centers have up to 18 operating rooms, which seems insane. I don't think that we have 18 operating rooms collectively as a health system. And these surgical centers are just weeds growing in all parts of Miami. If you want to understand truly what is happening right now with BBLs and cosmetic surgery in Miami, go back to the pill mill
Yeah,
and
I feel like,
opioid addiction.
of course, people want to go for the cheaper option,
popping up everywhere
but
without regulation, without oversight,
I feel like they should also check the reviews on the doctor,
physician or board certified physician,
if they even have
and
reviews on the doctor.
what that led us to.
Many cosmetic surgery patients in Miami come from out of state, lured by the clinic's cheap prices. Sheila Powell, who lives in Mississippi, was one of them.
You can see those scars right there.
In 2018, she decided to get a BBL ahead of her wedding day.
And I had for a long time been dieting and doing different things to try to lose stubborn fat, and
She kind of looks like she bleached her skin, but I'm not sure.
You know, social media made it seem like it was easy, it was convenience, and it would give me, you know, those instant results that I needed.
Sheila went online and found
I
out
don't know,
about a
maybe
clinic in
she
Miami
has
called Seduction Cosmetics
vitiligo.
Center and booked an appointment there with Dr. John Sampson.
Oh look, Valentine's special Brazilian butt lift for $112
a month.
112.
Before and after. And that's him, right?
That's Dr. Sampson.
Sheila
Wait,
drove
why is that
13
picture
hours for her surgery,
accompanied with the other
bringing
picture?
along her twin daughters, who were 16 at the time.
Were you worried about it for her at the time? Did you think there were any risks?
We're going on a trip to Miami, that's all we thinking. See the palm trees and beaches, you know.
On the morning of February 23rd, 2018, Sheila and her daughters arrived at Seduction for her appointment.
When I got there, they took
That
me
is
to
a
the
weird,
back and started prepping me
weird
for
name of
surgery,
a
taking my blood
clinic.
pressure. They put me in a room, and Dr. Sampson came in there and talked to me.
And that's the first time you had met him?
Mm-hmm. First time.
And what was your impression of him when you first met him?
Kind of seemed really rushy and kind of seemed just, you know, straight to the point, you know. And I remember asking him about lipo in my arms. He said, "We'll do whatever, you know, you want to pay for." That's what he told me. I remember,
But aren't you supposed to check to see if they're qualified for the surgery?
Room and the anesthesia doctor coming in, and he was like, "I'm going to be the one putting you to sleep." I remember it was just me and him in the room, and I was like, "Where's everybody?" And then next thing I knew, I was asleep.
Sheila's chest cavity was punctured during the liposuction portion of her procedure, collapsing her lung. She was rushed to the emergency room of a nearby hospital.
What was going through your mind when you saw your mom being taken out on a stretcher?
It made me emotional because when I asked, nobody knew to tell me anything.
It was scary, huh?
I feel it just so hurt me, like just a blink of the eye, I could have lost my mom. And I could have been in Miami by myself, not knowing how to find her or anything.
Oh gosh.
You still have a scar. Oh my goodness, look at this. So this is the scar that's remaining. This is from the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Sheila spent the next week in the hospital with her teenage daughters sleeping beside her.
I look at Seduction as a chop shop because they definitely don't care about
They're still open?
their customers, their clients. It's
Yeah, I
just
feel like
all
they just
about
want the money.
They want to make the fast money, and they just do it really, really quick
Mm-hmm.
and get you out.
To get to the next person.
Sheila sued Seduction.
They don't have
and her
this,
doctor,
like,
John Sampson.
online,
The
like
case is still
when
being
people look for
litigated in
reviews, they
court.
don't mention that.
In 2021, a 33-year-old woman died while Dr. Sampson was performing a Brazilian butt lift. An investigation by the Florida Board of Medicine, the administrative body which governs the practice of doctors in the state, revealed it was his 7th patient of the day.
There's evidence that fatigue plays a role
He just wants the
I think
money
that's something
and not
that he
even
should have thought
trying to do it
about.
right.
To start an elective surgery that's the
Or
most
at least
dangerous
safely.
cosmetic surgery in the United States at 8:30 at night after having operated all day.
He was ordered to pay a fine and was permanently banned from performing BBLs in Florida. As for Dania's case, her surgeon, Dr. Alvarez, was fined and banned from performing the procedure for 1 year. Meanwhile, in response to the rising deaths, the Florida Board of Medicine took action by creating an emergency rule.
This basically
Okay,
limited the
that's
number
good.
of
They made a law.
BBLs that a surgeon could perform to 3 a day max, and also required them to use an ultrasound during the procedure. And that emergency rule was only good for 90 days, by the way, so it's expired.
But
Oh.
Dr. Alvarez and other surgeons formed a lobbying
Why-
group called Surgeons
why
for
would they get rid of
Safety
that?
to protest the order, and they sued the Florida Board of Medicine.
They said we shouldn't limit doctors on how many of these they can do, and we shouldn't have required them to use ultrasounds. And part of their argument was that, you know, if we keep these rules, you're going to drive patients to the doctors who don't follow the rules. They're also they've become pretty generous donors to the Republican Party of Florida and the Republican candidates.
Wait,
So
but
during the time, within
why
like
wouldn't
6
you want to go
months,
to
I
the
wanna say
safer?
the first 4 or 5 months, they donated about $350,000.
Why wouldn't you go the safer path?
Members of Surgeons
Like, why
for
would it drive
Safety did not respond
patients
to a
to the
request for
people that don't
interviews.
follow those rules?
With the emergency order now expired, the Florida Board of Medicine is trying to pass new safety regulations. Meanwhile, state lawmakers passed a Republican-sponsored bill that requires more oversight on how BBLs are performed, though it doesn't include a cap on the number of surgeries a doctor can do per day. But what happens at these high-volume clinics goes way beyond Florida.
This happened here in Miami. It began here in Miami, but unfortunately it's not restricted to Miami. And that's for 2 reasons. That number one, patients from all over the United States are coming here, and they have had these complications and deaths. So it is affecting the entire country. What we have also found is that many of the clinics that have started here in Miami are now franchising. And I think every community needs to understand that when a clinic opens up, the business model is incredibly important.
How did Dania's death affect Dr. Alvarez's business?
I don't think it affected his business.
People still go to
Matter of
him
fact,
even
it
after.
expanded his business.
Wow, look at all these: Austin, Atlanta, Baltimore, Chicago, Dallas,
People don't
Houston,
care
Las
about
Vegas, Miami, New
what he
York
did.
City, Tampa Bay.
So many that Dr. Alvarez apparently cannot keep track of how many patients have to be transported to the hospital with complications.
We are 13 centers with thousands and thousands of cases, so I can't remember every time a patient.
And I'm not asking you every time. I'm just asking you in the history. Has it been more than 2 or 3 times that?
I don't know.
He knows.
In 2021,
How
the Texas
can he not
Medical
know?
Board investigated Dr. Alvarez.
He was there.
When 3 of his patients developed
He
complications
can't even
after
guess.
their surgeries that required them to
He
receive
knows.
emergency care. They found that he failed to timely respond to those patients and did not maintain adequate medical records. According to a receptionist at Mia Aesthetics, Dr. Alvarez is no longer performing surgeries.
They become so desensitized.
What happened to him? He went to hiding.
They see it as a piece of meat instead of a human being.
I thought I was in good hands. I thought I was with one of the best cosmetic doctors. I thought that I was going to come out of there looking like an hourglass. I don't think he values human life.
He just wants the money.
It's all about money. All about money.
Dr. Sampson did not respond.
But it's
to
crazy
list of
that even
questions.
after hearing
According to
about this, people still
receptionists
went to
with
him for
Seduction
surgeries.
And Dr. Sampson's private practice in Michigan, he's no longer performing BBLs.
Go get KJ. Go get KJ. Take KJ here.
I live every day like it's my last day because I know that I could not have been here. But I feel like God just allowed me another chance to be here with my family.
Her kids are very, very destroyed. They're very hurt. It's a love you can't replace. It's tore their family apart.
She was a gorgeous girl. She was a child so happy. She loved life. 28 short years. Like a star, coming and going. The young girl died for no reason. Those doctors are a disgrace to medicine.
Yeah, I didn't realize that some doctors just did these things for money, so they didn't really care about the patients. They just like have patients coming in and out as much as they could in a day. But yeah, because I always hear about BBLs and like girls posting before and after pictures, but I guess they went to like other doctors that have better experience and results, and they probably pay more. But yeah, these offices or clinics that are giving discounts, they just want more money, more people, more traffic. But yeah, that's crazy. But if you want plastic surgery, do whatever you want, like it's your body, but just be careful, look up reviews, do multiple consultations. I don't know. But yeah, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, SEKSHI V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.